Alright, this is Twin Rose's first YouTube video. I'm going to keep it pretty short. A little quick rundown of what we're doing, and a little bit about greenhouse management. For the first year, we're going to end up doing mostly stock flowers and vegetable starts to generate income. We currently have 3 greenhouses. The one that we're in right now is more of the nursery greenhouse. This is the one where we're starting all the seeds. We also have an orchard in the back. Obviously, that's years down the road before we see produce coming off of that. And we'd also like to get into growing herbs and maybe more varieties of vegetables and stuff. But this first year, we're going to focus on doing cut flowers, which you see here in these 3 raised beds right here. So really what I wanted to go over with was how we kind of heat and cool our greenhouses more in the winter time. Summertime is obviously a little bit different. Spring is probably the easiest just because it stays cool and stays at reasonable temperatures. But what we have right here is I use more passive solar and then thermal heat to kind of trap heat in the greenhouse, because we only do a single layer of plastic in our greenhouses. We don't have 2. Which people that have 2 would use a fan to blow space in between there, and that would create insulation basically to trap the heat more thoroughly at night. What we do is, I've got a couple different methods. We bought these black barrels here and filled them up with water. We're on well water, so it was pretty inexpensive to do that. Just the cost of the barrels. And those trap heat during the day and then release it during the night. So right now, currently, because it was so cold last night, we're at 47 degrees in the water right now. It was in the mid-50s yesterday. And I expect it to probably get close to 50 today. And then tomorrow when I come in after it's so cold tonight, it will probably drop down another 10 or so degrees. I try to keep the more heat-sensitive plants, like the tomatoes and peppers we have over there, over some of those barrels. But in general, having the barrels in here and the fan running radiates and moves that heat around the greenhouse pretty effectively. And then another method inside these raised beds, I have plastic underneath, and then I put leaves to both help create kind of a decomposition and release some of that heat, but also to trap heat in between the leaves inside there. And then I water in the middle of the day to try to get the water on the plants as warm as possible. So when I lay this plastic all over here on top of these, put wood on top of it to hold that plastic in place, it'll trap the heat from the water inside of there, trying to maximize the soil temperature. Air temperature is obviously important, but soil temperature for these plants right now is more important. We are sitting at 84. It's the middle of the day right now. It's about 33 degrees outside, and we're 84 inside here. 91 reading the middle. This measures the temperature at both the top and the bottom, so 81 is right there at the bottom. And then obviously the other thing we use is we have grow lights in the back there, which put off some heat, and then we have heating mats. I have to have heating mats in and around my peppers and tomatoes and around my seed starts over there in order to maintain the temperature that we need to get those germinated correctly. So you can see all those right there. We've got some zinnias and some asters starting over there, sunflowers, peppers, some later peppers that have gotten started, stock flowers over there. In this bed over here is some decorative basil, some measly dill, a little bit more of edible basil. The tomatoes, and you can even see in here, it's actually gotten so warm that some of these tomatoes have gotten a little wilty. I just water them. They'll come back to life here pretty soon. So this is what we do to try to heat our greenhouse during the winter. It was 22 last night. It's supposed to be even colder tonight. And we have chosen to be very careful about how many we plant. This isn't really a late freeze. It was more really of an early spring that we had. And so These flowers right here are not under as intense heat as the tomatoes are over there, because these can tolerate a little bit more cold. Obviously, the tomatoes and peppers need some heat to stay quite so lovely. So yeah, we have a lot going on in here. And then on warmer days, I actually have the roll-up ends here, and I can actually leave these open because it'll get so warm in here. Obviously it can be a little dangerous to the plant. But right now, because of the cold weather, we're trying to trap as much heat as we can in here during the day. We use passive solar, and then we try to radiate that heat through the barrels and through the fan, and then trap as much of it as we possibly can at night, so that we can keep that air temperature and that soil temperature as high as possible. And then obviously as the season moves on, the methods for controlling temperature get a little bit different. But that's what we got going on right now. And hopefully we can go over another video later about how to control the temperature when it's warmer. That'll be later in the season. So thank you.